Polling for you about the president's first 100 days in office. And it shows a majority of Americans believe he's putting too much focus on tariffs. 62% of Americans, to be exact, and 69% say he's not focusing enough on lowering prices. CBS News Elections and Surveys Executive Director Anthony Salvanto brings us an explanation of that and more.
Can you judge the Trump administration after 100 days? Well, a slight majority of Americans says, yeah, that's enough time. But there's big partisan splits on that. In particular, a lot of Republicans, a lot of those who approve of the president say, no, it's not enough time just yet. And maybe that's because overall, a lot of Americans believe that the president is making major changes to how the government works, big changes to how the U.S. economy works as well. All this part of the latest CBS News poll at 100 days. Now, the big question has been about the economy. Coming in to this administration, a lot of Americans said they felt that Donald Trump's policies would make them financially better off. But here's what's happening now. We've got a story about focus, where you've got over 2/3 of Americans say they don't think the administration is putting enough focus on lowering prices. At the same time, similar number feels like the administration putting too much focus on tariffs and trade. And that is a concern because what they perceive about prices has a lot to do with how they rate the president on handling inflation and handling the economy. So when you go and look at those numbers for him, well, take a look. His approval on handling inflation is now down to 38%. His approval on handling the economy has also ticked down. I mentioned that disconnect about which way his policies would affect your finances. And note this split. More say that those policies have made them financially worse off than better. So that's part of the story on the economy. But take a look at what happens on immigration and on the president's plans for deportation, because he does get net approval, as he has throughout the term, on his program to deport immigrants who are in the U.S. illegally. Some of this, though, in the details, we do see more mixed and some more pushback, if you will. You want to look at whether you think what should happen, rather, if the Trump administration is trying to deport a non-U.S. citizen, and 2/3 believe that that person should get a court hearing first before being able to be deported. And take a look at this difference. Overall, Americans do not think it would be acceptable if a legal U.S. resident were mistakenly detained as part of that overall deportation program. The president's political base, MAGA Republicans, are a little more saying that that's acceptable, but overall that majority saying it's not. And that speaks to another theme, perhaps, of these first 100 days, and that is the president's powers, rather. And let me show you that. We do see still support, if you will, for the idea of working with Congress, more so to pass laws, 3/4 saying that, than just using executive orders to change regulations. Also, big majority saying that were the Supreme Court to rule against any of the president's policies, that he ought to follow that. So that's part of the dynamic, that presidential powers dynamic. So many big issues. Americans see big changes in that first 100 days.
So yeah, so that's why so, he put it's 100 photos of Isaac Tank from the front of the lawn. Oh, that's crazy. Trump is not playing. So when it comes to the deportation, he got out the criminals out of here ASAP. But go ahead, Ronnie, man. What is your take on what job do you think he did on his first 100 days as his second term as being president?
Yeah, not only that, but shout out to Mimi that's also in the building. Co-host of the Shiesty Vendor is also in the building. Not only that, shout out to White Hot, who's also in the building as well. So Trump, 100 days. I'm just being honest. His approval rate is going down because the aspect is he's focusing on the wrong thing. People are electing him to be in office for the number one thing is to fix the economy. The economy is not going the way it was going under the Biden administration. So Trump made a promise to the American people, say, hey, when I come into office, my whole duty is to make sure to undo everything Biden has done, and now that but focus on the economy so we can have better job, better way of living, and better opportunity for American people. Now, right now, when it comes to the aspect of these tariffs, he's not holding up. I'm being honest, Jordan Hakeem's not holding up his end of the bargain. People are upset at him. They are frustrated with him, and now that they keep saying why. I'm being honest. We can do it to Biden and Barack Obama. We can do it to Trump too. Why he's always tweeting about certain things, especially when it comes to the NFL draft. He used to be focused on, hey, how can we have a better day when it comes to for tomorrow? The American people are frustrated with him. They say, hey, the housing market, it seems like it's about to get ready to crash. People are not having good job opportunity. People are being deported. Hakeem Jordan, what is going on with President Trump? Is he losing himself? Is he focusing on the wrong thing? Or do you have a plan? Because right now the Department of Education is not getting along with President Trump and also the IRS. So that's why his approval rate is going down. But however, I think it's still hope for the American people. I think he's just trying to figure things out. My thing is he was just focused on more on what Biden administration have done and try to remove it and implement his own thing, his own strategy. And it's going to take some time, folks. It's only 100 days. To me, now, if it's at the end of the year and still stuff, you don't see no change and no improvement, then I'm going to go in my bag. But the first 100 days, he still has some more work he needs to do. And I think he didn't focus on the economy. Go right ahead, Akeem.
So for a lot of people don't know, it's gonna take more than 4 years to fix 100 years of mess up. It's gonna take 10 years or another 8 years to mess up to fix 4 years. So
Wait,
just
so
really,
Hakeem, you going to be elected again? That's
no, he won't.
what it sounds like you're
Hey,
saying.
he won't be elected again. But there's a lot of these policies that he's doing. I do support. I do support that. We shouldn't be playing with nobody else but America. And if you wanna get access to this country and this consumers, you're gonna have to pay. And with the immigration stuff, you already know I support that. So, but it's just gonna take time. And I guess when we revisit this and things start happening good, then we'll throw it in people's face.
I know a lot of people are really, really mad that when it comes to their student loans, starting May 5th, people that was defaulted, they got to pay their student loans.
Yeah, if
And
you
if
want, good point, Jordan. People are mad about that. I forgot about that.
don't pay your student loans, it might be some ways garnishments coming out from your
Biden lied to y'all.
So right now, like I said, his approval rate is going way down. When it comes to the deportations, as you can see that all the people that he took out, they did some, they're criminals. He took them out. Okay, cool. The terrorists and everything, I mean, he got to do better than that. He got to talk to the China ASAP. That's just me, to work out something and everything because it's like I know you're trying to focus on terrorists with China, but it's kind of like you having these Americans kind of going cold turkey in a way because they're so used to buying stuff from China in every way, and they're not used to something like that. And remember, guys, almost a month ago, I think over a month ago, you had people rallying in major cities about how terrible Trump is doing so far. And that was like his first 70, 80 days, something like that already in. But yeah, right now, I mean, like I said, he did giving out money to HBCUs, which we're grateful for that because they're if you a lot of guys don't know they are slowly that there's some HBCUs are closing down little by little. A lot of people don't know that, but they are. But when it comes to this, like I said, I'm gonna judge your whole 4 years. 100 days. It's just that's what a little bit more than 3 months and everything. So in the future and the better, hopefully he gets the terrorists done and everything like that. When it comes to also bring more jobs here in the United States ASAP. When it comes down, drill more oil here. I might hear anything about that, do that, and everything. So, and also, with he got a problem with the Shedeur Sanders stuff and everything. I know you're watching NFL whatever, but you should be focused on other things as being the president and everything. So, but yeah, just like I said, like I said, I'm not like I said, I judged 4 years, and and if you and also that if you do something terrible too, I don't care if you're Joe Biden, Clinton, whatever, I'm gonna get on yourself and everything. So, Donald Trump needs to still do a better job, and we're just gonna go by there. But right now, it's not looking good right now. It's not. I ain't gonna lie, it's not looking good. So you better hurry up. But I say hurry up, but hurry. Like when it comes to the tariffs, please make a deal some way somehow, because I know people in here, United States, they're gonna go loco if they don't if the tariffs don't get done. That's how I see it.